slide. Thank you very much, George and CERTH team and Odysseas for the organization of this webinar. Indeed, it's quite interesting to see such a valuable experience from startups so as to trigger or to inspire our participants here for further similar actions. Now my presentation is focused on the 4 pre-designs, the 4 concepts, technological concepts that we are dealing with in the framework of SolarHub project. So we have 4 different technologies, but focused on the use of solar energy. And I will try to briefly give you more information on this. In any case, I will give also the information of the technical responsible. So if somebody wants more information, is more than welcome to contact the responsible person and to ask for more. So I will try from the first pre-design. The first pre-design is focused. The first technological concept, let's say, just to avoid the confusion, is focused on low, medium temperature solar technologies, and more specifically is focused on the development of a large-scale flat plate collector that is going to be used for industrial and agricultural applications. Just to mention that this is quite innovative for the Greek situation, because it's the first time that a Greek company develops such a big 12 square meter solar collector. So this is quite interesting. So this technology is focused, as I mentioned, in the temperature range of 80, 120 degrees Celsius, so somewhere between the flat plate and the concentrated technologies. Also, it is
Vassiliki,
yes.
Vassiliki, your
yes.
presentation is not in slideshow mode. It's not full screen. Maybe
it's not
we
full
can
screen.
see it
I
better.
see it as full screen. Oh, okay, let me try again. But you see the first pre-design?
Yes, we see it.
Yeah, we see, but it's not in slideshow mode. I think.
Okay, let me try in different way. Now you cannot see nothing, correct?
Yeah, we can see
nothing. Okay, I'm going to do it in a different way.
But it's okay. I mean, if there is no other way, so then
I will try to do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a little bit complicated for me also, but let's try, and then I suggest to avoid losing more time. Okay, maybe entire screen. I see it in full screen, but if you don't, then no, I cannot help on this. I suppose not. You have the previous situation.
Yes, it's exactly the
problem. You have 2 monitors.
What can the next
Penelope, I have sent you my presentation. Would you like to share the presentation so as to be more visible for the participants?
Yes, I will try.
Okay, let's do it in this way. Perfect.
Yes.
So, just in in the second slide. Okay, very good. Thank you, Penelope. I will give you a signal just to change the slide. So, as I mentioned, with the flat plate collector, also we consider the development and the study of a heat storage material that is based on a cost and abundant ceramic materials, and also the integration of a smart system so as to optimize the whole energy use. Now, the current status is that we have already constructed the two prototypes. Thermodynamic simulations also are underway, definition of smart control, heat storage materials also studies are underway, and also a tool, a user-friendly tool is going to be developed for the cost and dimensioning of the system. Next slide, please. Penelope, would you like to let me know how much time I have so as to manage my presentation, because you have already lost some time? How much time you want to spend for my presentation? 15 more minutes is okay?
Yes,
or?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. 15 more. Okay. Now, the collaborative opportunities for the first pre-design are listed, but not limited to these just mentioned. I mean, these are some ideas that we have, but if there is a specific suggestion or another better idea so as to collaborate in the framework of this concept, this is something that exists also for the first pre-design, but also for the others. So in this way, I will give information about the concept, about the current status, and about the collaborative opportunities, but we are fully open in order to discuss any other more innovative or an idea that we haven't listed here. So the collaborative opportunities are focused in the control. So we are open to collaborating with control suppliers or people that they have the knowledge in AI or smart control systems so as to further develop our control subcomponent. Also, relevant companies for the pre-design entrance to market, and other solar specialists that have more knowledge about the installation and maintenance procedures regarding such a big solar installations. The contact persons, the first contact persons, of course, because each pre-design has a team of people that work in each organization are listed here. So you can contact it, either me from Greek side or Dr. Onutfilan from Turkey side. Thank you, Penelope. Okay, next slide. Okay, now the second pre-design. The second pre-design is focused again in solar technology, but now in higher temperatures. This technological area is focused on the use of concentrated solar energy by means of linear parabolic collectors. Considering the solar energy use, we can focus on the agri-food waste in a better way so as to increase the calorific value through thermochemical conversion. Also, this is a quite innovative concept that with the help, the aid of concentrated solar energy and the thermal energy storage, can allow the use of the agri-food waste. This is quite interesting and quite innovative, as I mentioned, both for Greek and Turkish situation. Now the current status is it is already defined, the conceptual design of this specific concept. Some preliminary experimental results are also available regarding the hydrothermal liquefaction reactor, modeling of parabolic trough collectors, the PTC, CFD analysis, and initiation of other aspects as environmental, economic, and relevant issues. Next slide, please, Penelope. Now, the collaborative opportunities are listed here, as I mentioned before, but not limited to those referred here. There is an interest for collaboration in terms of industrial part as an end user. So it is quite important to have agriculture, food, beverage industry as end users, so as to see, to compare, to use information about their needs and their requirements. Of course, from the part of parabolic trough collector, HTL, thermal energy storage, heat transfer fluid, as technology providers in different levels in form of the concept or simulation and things like this. So far, a stakeholder list is available for Ankara from the Turkish side. That includes the solar thermal companies, non-governmental organizations, and public authorities, and of course, a market analysis that is quite important also for the entrance of this pre-design in the market, both for Greek and Turkish situation is quite important. The contacts are listed here from the Greek and Turkish side. From the Turkish side, Dr. Onur Teylan, and from Greek side, Nikolaos Tsongidis from CERTH. It's same thing to conduct either the Turkish or the Greek partner. Now, the third pre-design is focused on the PV technology. As you see, we have two concepts, one for solar thermal, and two concepts for PV. And the first concept for solar thermal is focused in low, medium temperature. The next solar thermal concept is focused on high temperature. And now we have two concepts that are focused in the PV. PV technology is quite known, but here we are dealing with agri-PV. Agri-PV is technologies that day by day gain more information, more interest in both in Greek, in Turkish, and European level. The specific pre-design, the specific concept is dealing with the power production, but also with the optimization of the climate, the microclimate for 3 plants. The current status is that has already collected information about the crop requirements, because it's important to see what is the crop requirements in terms of the end user. The support system, the novel support systems for this for the installation of the agri-PV, and a calculation tool, a user-friendly calculation tool for the quantification of the irradiance incident on agri-PV modules. As you can see in the next slide, please, Penelope. Already there are some examples of 3 different agri-PV concepts in terms of installation and structure. And here, again, the collaborative opportunities, not limited to those mentioned, but fully open to collaborating more innovative ideas. Of course, scientists or experts or companies that have a good knowledge on requirements of the crops under study in terms of the practices of agricultural practices, on the effect of the microclimate factors on the crop's productivity is quite important and useful. But also knowledge on the simulation of the shading effects and the reduction of the radiation levels under the structure, under the agri-PV system is also useful. Financial information and the knowledge is something, again, that is a very interesting area to collaborate with. The relevant contacts are from the Greek side, Evangelos Rikos from CRES, and Dr. Drosou, if I pronounce well the name, from the Turkish side. And now the last pre-design that is quite similar, but also not similar to the previous one. Here again, we are dealing with agri-PV systems, but for crops, so for smaller and high plants. Again, we study agri-PV systems tailored for specific crops like tomatoes. Additionally to the structure and additionally to the installation requirements and design, it is also a great attention to paid in rainwater collection and also in the storage system integrated with the PV modules, so as in this way to be supported in a better way the crop irrigation. The current status so far is that already is defined the initial concept and also has already identified the essential crop cultivation requirements. Like the previous one, various solar panel designs in order to optimize the system have been studied and implemented. And of course, this is a horizontal action that happens in all pre-designs, literature reviews and software developments so as to focus on to better understand the system design and the system optimization. Penelope, next slide. The collaborative opportunities for this specific pre-design is focused on engaging the people that they have specific knowledge on this or the subsystem of this system so as to advance the technological innovation and the system efficiency. And relevant stakeholders from agricultural communities or from governmental agencies or from renewable energy companies so as to collaborate and to contribute so as to further develop in this solution. The contacts are listed again here in the list. So this from my side, my mail is, next slide please. My mail is this one, and we can either contact the people that referred in my slides or either contact me, and I will be very pleased to forward you or to direct you to the relevant person. Thank you very much. I hope that I gave a quite holistic, let's say, view of the 4 pre-designs. And I give the floor to Penelope and to Odysseas.
Thank you, Vassiliki. Yes, it was a pretty nice overview of the pre-designs. I hope that now I will be able, okay, Penelope has already started the presentation, so I think we're good. I believe that with the presentation of the acceleration program that we have in place, our participants will understand how we can blend these two together. So let's go, Penelope. Okay, this is just an overview of our project. I'm sure that you cannot read anything here, but let me tell you that we have 5 hubs around between Greece and Turkey, all in solar energy, and we are working with within this European project to build an excellence hub which will promote the solar energy applications in the region. I won't say more about the project because you can easily look around that on our website. Let's go to the next one. So the idea of organizing an acceleration program within this project was that the whole project idea was not only supporting research. It wasn't a research or innovation, or it wasn't just a research and innovation program. It wasn't a research program by itself. So the idea is supporting innovation. And the biggest problem of innovation and of research teams is that they reach a point where they have a product, they may have some good ideas, they may have already worked on that, but they fail to find a market, they fail to commercialize that. So they get some money, they get some funding, either from European projects or maybe from friends and family. And then there is a point where we call that the valley of death, where they are unable to reach any other investors or to reach the industry. And this is where acceleration programs come. Next slide. And they try to build a bridge to bridge the gap between these 2 stages. So the early stage where you have your idea, you have your prototype, and you want to reach the market. In our case, we designed an acceleration program in 3 cycles. So we would like to focus on different stages and different maturity of startups and products, starting this year with SolarHub IGNITION, where we focus on early stage startups, entrepreneurs, research teams in solar energy. There is not even a requirement for these teams to be incorporated, so there's no need for the research teams that will have been selected or will participate in our acceleration program to have set up a company. And through training, through both business training and technical support and business mentoring and technical coaching and some idea workshops, we will help these teams to come up with a solid idea, to validate some ideas that they may have, to test their assumptions, to work with established companies and well-experienced entrepreneurs and businesses in the areas and see if what they have in mind is actually something that they can take to the market. And we will do that for 6 months. And I will later show more information on the components of the program. Next year, the last year of our project, so in 2025 and 2026, we are building on ignition. So next year in our acceleration program, we will focus on more established startups with maybe a defined product, or maybe hopefully we will be able to mature some of the startups that will start this year with us and take them to the second stage of our. Similar activities, similar duration, but next year closer to the market with access to investors and early stage money and risk finance. Last year in 2026, there we are going to focus on more mature startups with established solar energy products and help them not only get to market, but maybe implement a pilot project through national funding or through European funding or with the help of business investors. Let me say that we already have on board a few venture capital funds that are interested in this technology and will follow the progress of this acceleration program throughout its implementation. And especially for the second, for next year and for momentum, SolarHub Momentum and SolarHub Synergies, where we hope that we will have more mature ideas to show. Let's go to the next slide. So, SolarHub IGNITION, and we're talking about, click on it, don't worry, it's next slide, will has some different designs than other programs that you may know. So let's go to the next slide because you can click on it. Okay, the program was designed originally for research teams and early stage startups with limited experience from any widening country, and we wanted companies and research teams, even if they weren't incorporated. And we wanted to start building an ecosystem that will help us strengthen the whole sector in Greece and Turkey. So we accepted early stage startups and research teams, as I already said. We had 24 research teams and 31 individual experts that have expressed interest. And finally, we have selected 17 teams and 13 experts that will be part of our community and part of our acceleration programs. The experts will support the teams, and the teams will gain from having access to all the components of our project, of our program. In terms of statistics, we have 8 teams from Greece and Turkey and 9 from the rest of Europe. Next one. So I am not going to repeat how an acceleration program works, but let me tell you that we had an open call. We concluded this open call. We evaluated the teams that were eligible and were close and were viable for our support. And we will start notifying these teams. We have already notified the individual experts who will operate as business mentors and technical coaches. And you will see what their role will be in later slides. And by the end of this week, maybe either tomorrow or the day after, we are going to officially notify the research teams that will participate to the project. After that, we will start the program, and the program will have other components at the end of this year. Probably in December, we will close with an open day event to demonstrate our progress and attract investors, network, and hopefully broker some deals. Next one. So 6 components in our acceleration program. Most of them are typical, so things that you expect to see in an acceleration program: education and training for the entrepreneurs, including both business and training and technical sections. One ideation workshop per our hub. So we have 5 hubs, and we hope that this ideation workshop will give us the opportunity also to network and bring these teams together. Mentoring and coaching from experienced business people and entrepreneurs and researchers. Network opportunities, of course, we are participating and we are organizing plenty of events, and these research teams will be part of these events, of course. Access to finance and funding. We do not have a financial support to third-party component, so we cannot give money to these startups, but we will do our best to help them access finance and access funding that is already available. And of course, I believe the strongest asset and the strongest component and the biggest component, the most beneficial component that we have is the early access to the pre-designs. The pre-designs that Vassiliki just presented previously. Next one. So where are we in terms of time? As I said, we have already completed the evaluation. Experts have already been notified. Teams will be notified within the following days, and we start the acceleration program with some trainings that will follow this one, and the mentoring and the coaching program. At the end, an open day within December where teams will be able to present what they have created. Next one. Let's go to the next one because this is just mentoring. Okay, this is our education and training program. It's almost finalized with some indicative days. We may merge some of these subjects, or we may split them in if we believe that the agenda will be too much. But in any case, you can see that we have both business training and technical training. So you can see that we have business foundations, for instance, especially for this sector. So people that know the solar energy sector will be talking about this. But we also have subjects like ESG and sustainability and energy communities and the use of PV systems and a lot more. This is a training that is open, of course, to the participants of the acceleration program, and we would like them to participate in as many trainings as possible. We understand that maybe you will not be able, or they will not be able to participate in all of them, but we will record all of them, and it will be one of the requirements for completing this acceleration program. Next one. The mentoring and coaching component. So every research team will be matched with a business mentor, so an industry professional with strong business and entrepreneurship skills, somebody who has already done that, somebody who has already built a company, somebody who has experience in commercializing, taking a product to the market, and he or she will devote 12 hours to the mentoring of that team. Even if this team is at an early stage, there are always things that the team can learn, and I believe it is even more necessary to start at this early stage, because these mentors will help you either validate your assumptions or change them or pivot or understand that your idea may not be viable, or take you and help you find another idea. In addition to that, we have the coaching. So the coaches are technical experts that already work in these pre-designs, in these technologies. So if you have an interest in a specific designs, we will be working with these teams. You already saw the people who are responsible for this pre-design, so you will have access to them, and you will be working with them to find applications, to find new components, to find new ideas on how these pre-designs could be used. And the goal of this exercise, the objective will be to develop one business case. It doesn't necessarily have to be a final product. It doesn't have to be a full business plan. You cannot do that, of course, in the time that we give you, or in the effort that we have anticipated for the project. However, it is a great exercise to try and see if you can make something, if you can think something that will fit into our ecosystem. And it is very important to do that, because you will be able to leverage the power and the network of SolarHub ecosystem. Next one. The ideation and co-design workshops are basically brainstorming sessions. We anticipate one rather in the middle of the acceleration program, and one closer to the end, where we can work on specific case studies and see if what you are thinking and what you have in mind, either using the pre-designs or maybe having a totally different idea in relation, of course, within the sector, is something that could find its way in the market. So this whole idea of the co-design workshops will help you gain better collaboration with the rest of the teams, get some hands-on learning, build your network, and of course, again, validate your ideas. Next one. Access to pre-designs, Vassiliki already extensively presented them. And through this access to the pre-designs, you have the opportunity either to design and develop something that is missing, something that we do not anticipate, either to integrate a pre-design into your solutions and build your own unique system, to offer some suggestions and the improvements to current pre-designs, and maybe even contribute to the further development of some pre-designs. And of course, you can be creative and present some new, original, and innovative cases that we haven't thought of, or propose some unique ideas. There are no limitations in what you can do with them, as long as the pre-design teams work with you and you work with them to identify something that it is within the scope of the project and it is viable commercially or scientifically. Next one. So these are the 4 pre-designs that we've already talked about, so don't need to repeat them again. Next. And as I already said, networking is an integral part of our acceleration, as in every acceleration. So we want you to meet new people. We want you to meet like-minded researchers. We want to create as many matchmaking opportunities as possible. And finally, we want to bring you closer to potential investors, corporates, potential clients, anybody who could help either a researcher or a new entrepreneur build a better network and start working within this ecosystem. Next. So this is our timeline. Unfortunately, you cannot see till the end. Yes, so let me check the dates. Okay, so by June 6th, we are going to notify all the research teams and accept the teams officially in our project. By June 12th, so by early next week, we're going to assign business mentors and technical coaches to these research teams. So every research team will have a business mentor and technical coach. And together, business mentors and technical coaches with the teams will set a coaching goal. So what would you like, what would the teams like to achieve during this support program within the 6 months that this will last? And of course, you immediately after that, the teams will start working with this expert, and in addition with all other activities, we will have the full implementation of the program. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Before I finish the presentation, let me tell you, of course, that we start this acceleration program in June. We understand and we know that summer is coming up and there will be a lot of vacations. We have accounted for that, so things will not be as heavy during late July to late August. Of course, we won't have. I think we kept this month open, so we probably have no training during August, late July and August. But we will intensify the acceleration program once we get back. So expect more and more intense program from September till the end of November. If you are applicants, look in your inbox, stay tuned in F6S. We will notify you in the next 1 to 2 days. If you are an expert, also stay tuned. If you are not, follow us on our social media, stay connected with us, visit our website for more, and connect, of course, with us individually. We all have a LinkedIn page. It's quite easy to find. I'm sure that you will find us, that you will find the person who is closer to your interests and will be happy to support you, of course. That's all from me. I don't have anything else to present. Do we have some time for questions now? Of course, you can post your questions in the chat box, and we will address them between the sessions. So please feel free to ask whatever you like, whatever it's not clear. I suppose that we will share all presentations, and with that, I would like to pass the floor to Dr. Eckhard Lepfert, so that we don't lose any time to catch up, for his presentation on concentrating solar power services and equipment experience in the benchmarks. Dr. Lepfert is from the German Aerospace Center from DLR, and he is working with research with spin-offs. So he has a lot of experience in this space, and I'm sure that he will share it with us. So, Dr. Eckhard, Dr. Lepfert.
Thank you, Odysseas. Eckhard Lepfert, nice to meet you all. Now let's see if I've managed the challenge of placing my presentation. If you're lucky, you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it. We can see it.
In the presentation mode and also the laser pointer?
Yes, everything.
Wow. First instance. Okay.
I think that WebEx has a problem with everybody that has two screens.
I have 3 screens.
No, okay. More than two, so
I was lucky. I even changed.
As long as you don't have to, it's okay.
To see better what's going on. So I suppose you can hear me properly, and I go rather quickly through a lot of information and leave some room open for questions and answers, hopefully later on. I'm talking about, let's say, one of my startups. It's the most relevant one in my life, and it is still existing. Even though I returned into the research sector, I'm now head of division in the Solar Institute Institute of Solar Research in DLR in Cologne in Germany. And I'll tell you something about what I did in the meantime. Let's see if I can switch the slides. I can't switch the slide. What's that? This way? It works. Okay. It is the technology we are talking about. I want to introduce a bit into the technology, what CSP Service is doing, and a bit tell about the founding process and boundary conditions and things like that. So we came from research in DLR. I've been working with DLR since my doctoral thesis in 1992. I started off in Cologne in DLR. I changed to Almeria, Spain, to the Plataforma Solar de Almeria. As you can already see, I'm working in concentrating solar technologies. This is a parabolic trough collector, and these nice birds here sitting in Sevilla on the absorber tubes, they are also inspecting, like us, the receiver tube, the collector. I still like this photo a lot. This is about also the time when this picture was taken was also the moment when we started the company CSP Services Limited, originally founded in Germany. Again, the challenge of not seeing the slides. I don't know why. A few slides about CSP Services. It is a private company, engineering, testing, measurement. It's a spin-off of the German Aerospace Center. It has offices in Cologne, Germany, and in Almeria, Spain. These are the two locations where the key players, the key persons are located. And this is an interesting situation across Europe to have different bases, not only from a personal perspective, but also sometimes from tax aspects, things like that. You can really play around if you have two different locations. We learned that over time. We didn't know it in the beginning, of course. We've been working on solar projects, on CSP projects worldwide. We started as a team of experts and engineers and collected more people together over decades of industry and solar research experience. And we've established ourselves as a market leader in these topics of quality control, performance testing, and measurements in the concentrating solar sector. People know us. Talking a bit about the experience, we're working in many countries around the world with hundreds of successful projects, many different clients. We have more or less contributed to the majority of all installed CSP fields. We're talking about 6 to 7 gigawatts of concentrating solar power installed worldwide. See here a few pictures of an assembly, a heliostat system, a weather station, operating room, measurements in a heliostat field, and so on. Our clients are the majority industry, project developers, consultants, EPC companies, a lot of component manufacturers, the manufacturers of mirrors, these curved mirrors, as well as receiver tubes, but also the owners of the plants, the operators, the operation and maintenance companies, but also in some situations, financing entities and governmental entities who are asking our services, our expertise, and so on. A short insight into the technology. We're measuring the concentrator shape. In this case here, this is a heliostat. This is a pentagonal heliostat mirror. You can imagine it's about 7 meters diameter. And with our deflectometric measurement system, we measure the shape of that system during the manufacturing in South Africa, in China, or whatever it might be. The result of the mirror depends on the structure which is below. The structure needs the appropriate accuracy, and we have established photogrammetry. This is a 3D photographic technique to measure the 3D properties of such a large collector structure. Such a collector is 6 meters wide, 12 meters long, or even more. And we've developed an automated system that is able to measure the quality during the assembly process. So it's a quality control system during assembly, which is much more useful than having a quality control later on when everything is already finished, because then we don't have any chance to correct it anymore. Still, there are some clients, as in this case here of these systems, clients want to know, how is my solar field? What's the quality of my solar field? Do I have to adjust or increase anything? Or what is the performance of my solar field in terms of geometry and optics? We have developed and we are marketing the equipment and also the services to gain such kind of information. All this goes together with different kinds of technical consulting. We can sell our expertise in form of hardware, products, and services, but also in some situations in terms of consulting, supporting project developers, supporting financing entities, supporting operators in choosing or taking decisions, and so on. This is not the richest part of our business. It is a side effect that we can sell also some knowledge here. Newer technologies that have been developed over time are analyzing the fluid which flows through the collector fields, analyzing individual components of a collector, and measuring the weather or at a power plant location or at a destinated project location where an investor or a country wants to install such a power plant to predict how much solar energy can be harvested in such a situation. We are an international team. The majority are Germans and Spanish, but also other international people. And a short introduction to myself. I studied mechanical engineering and physics at the Technical University of Aachen. I didn't study any management. This is what I had to learn later. I had the chance to have a family and 4 children. They are now grown up. I've been working in Cologne, Germany, but also in Spain at the Plataforma Solar, as I mentioned, in projects, in project management, as a head of the working groups, in R&D and collaboration with industry. And I always liked a lot the collaboration with industry to really get our results transferred into a real application, not just do some research in the lab. I wanted to do the bigger things and have the impact of my work visible in commercial projects. But a part of that, it was until then a typical DLR career within a research institute. But there started an idea about how to take this technology that we had started developing into the field, to the industry. We got requests, and we were thinking creatively about our project results. We looked at the market. We found out they could be interested in what we've been doing. We might be able to do what they require, but we were very uncertain. They said, no, we are in research. It's a safe job. I have a family. I have 4 children. That's not the right moment. But then we started changing our minds. Maybe we started thinking, how does it work? How could we do that? And we ended up by, why not? And we had the notary appointment in 2007 and started as entrepreneurs in a team of 3 colleagues from DLR. The extended team was 6 people. And we found a life with a lot of work, with a lot of excitement and a lot of variation in the kind of work that we're doing every day. So the company that we founded is CSP Services, and it came out of a technical institute, Technical Thermodynamics, later Solar Research Institute. The technical basis that we had was funded in the institute still by the German Ministry for the Environment to DLR. And the positive situation, we've got the mental support from some mentors in DLR, from the technology marketing department that we have, and also from the institute directors and department heads. We got some early funding within the institute, public funding into the public institute. We started writing a business plan, participated in business plan competition, found interested people, and in the end, as I mentioned, founded in 2007 the company. We made some advertisement, got a German Founders Award in 2012, and grew relatively fast to 25 to 30 persons in Cologne, in Almeria, with clients and projects almost all around the world, in the sunny regions, of course, you can imagine. The team are mostly engineers and physicists, but also some experts on administration. The typical turnover that we have relatively stable is 2 to 2.5 million per year. What did we achieve? We founded, we spun off, we grew, and we could expand in the market. We got license and cooperation agreements which were non-exclusive from DLR, so we could have easily had easy competitors. Luckily, we didn't. But we could start with a worldwide recognition from our clients coming from DLR as a renowned institute, having published our work previously, and also we appeared as sponsor for the scientific conference, for the Solar Paces conference in this case, and got known to our clients. And we contributed to these CSP projects in many countries. We developed our expertise and market leadership in quality control for the assembly of parabolic trough collectors and heliostats. All suppliers of curved mirrors use our system, the QDEX system, to analyze mirror shape quality. And today it's even the case that a newcomer in this market of mirrors could not sell his product unless he has a certificate about the shape from our QDEX system, which is of course an ideal position in this market. The only problem is the market is not very big. There are not so many suppliers of these components. We are supplying weather stations. We are supplying, as I mentioned, testing, analysis, and improvements to operating solar plants. And we are contributing with this work also to international standards, to quality and specifications of CSP technology. So what were the ambient conditions? I wanted to talk a bit about what was the situation when we started and how this continued. At that time, DLR, our employer, had a worldwide recognition in the field of concentrating solar, but in R&D. We had publications from more than 15 years in our scientific work previously, so we could prove what we've been doing in science and technology. We had experience from applying projects and managing projects, which was crucial for later understanding how company and business works, because we are all engineers. We have not learned business as a training, but just on the job. We already knew numerous industry partners. They knew us from specific conferences, in particular the Solar Paces conference, and we were present in an important target market, which was Spain at that time. We educated our own team. They were really our team. They were grown in our team, and they learned how we work. And we continued, of course, the cooperation with the Institute, with the DLR Institute and its partners, which has always been a good reference and a good help. So what was the spin-off process? Just telling a bit more about how everything went. We started working scientifically. We gained experience. We applied for projects. We managed projects. We built up contacts, expanded the team. And we started mind games. We looked around. We were putting prototypes into application, putting them to the test, into the inspection of the industry. This way we could build trust to ourselves and to our customers and vice versa. Also, we have to say we were lucky. We were at the right time at the right place. But we had to seek for the luck, of course. We launched several trial balloons in order to see what happens. It's important we didn't run off on our own. We always built up teams with suppliers, with partners, with clients in order to get to the right point. We collected information, we checked consultants, we wrote plans and offers and designed the cooperation, and we had to stay up to date in terms of technology. We got some legal advice, which is necessary, strongly recommended, went to the notary and founded the company. We had to have the contracts with DLR in terms of cooperation with DLR, licenses with DLR, rental of offices and equipment with DLR, reduction of our working hours in DLR. So a lot of administrative steps with DLR that take a while. That's my experience. Perhaps you're in a different situation, but it took us a while to have these necessary contracts and modifications in place. We had to build our infrastructure. We had to search for a tax consultant, insurance and business papers and logo and web page and software licenses. We had to establish our manufacturers, suppliers and partners. but we still had to save on expenses. We're working in the beginning in home office. We're driving with a private car. Important is in the meantime to recover, go on holiday. The office was rented. We started fitting it out with desks, and were able to equip ourselves with hardware, and quite soon had better hardware equipment that we needed and used than the DLR where we were coming from. But of course, in such a process, there are many challenges. For example, we in this international situation, we had to found the Spanish subsidiary and take over the stuff. We have complex tax regulations within the country and intra-countries, inter-European, between the two locations of the country. We have to develop new technologies in order to keep up to date. The market in Spain and Southern Europe has always been critical. You know it yourselves. The grant schemes are changing for our projects. We tried to develop new markets with complex R&D projects, but we went into the more difficult markets: India, China, South Africa. Really difficult markets in terms of logistics, in terms of tax, in terms of culture. In terms of reliability of the clients, no easy going. Everything had to be developed for our own experience in our own market. We had to develop our personnel. We had to launch new developments into the market. We had to live with bankruptcies of our clients in a relatively young industry. The industry is young, but it's growing, but it also suffers bankruptcies. And not only this, but other aspects always give a problem in liquidity. Do we have enough money on the account to pay our people and to pay our suppliers the next month? This question is often raised. The foreign projects and international projects are complex in terms of contracts, in terms of currencies, and guarantees and logistics. So it's a complex scheme. An important information that I want to give here, this is the distribution over the last 15 years of our different products. Don't really care about which products these are, but it's important to see that in the beginning we started off with just 2 products, and these have changed. This blue product has disappeared in the years 2020, 2021, 2022. It has reappeared in 23. The other products have been added. Consulting aspects go up and down drastically. Other products, so you can never live on one single product. You will always need to be a stable business. You will always need different product lines, different kinds of clients in these changing markets. Because otherwise you cannot survive difficult times of one of these products, of course. 2 more slides. I've noted down a few lessons learned and tips and tricks that I think are important here to transmit as a matter of experience. Take it serious. It's very important. Build a solid base and environment for your work. Choose carefully partners and consultants and also employees. Don't just take anyone. Choose them carefully. They are your working tools. We started in a core team of 3 people. I would have never been able to do it alone. We had an extended core team of 6 people and then raised our own stuff. It was very important for us to develop our profile. Who are we? What are we like? How do we speak to our clients, to our market? What are we able to do? Who needs what we are doing? This profile development is always important to understand how and whom are we addressing with our products, with our advertisement or whatever it is. Look for role models, even the negative ones. Compare yourself, see how do you want to be. Find the right league. We are not a big player. We've been staying a small company of 25, 30 persons. Do not accept gifts. That's a very dangerous situation. You know it from private life. Gifts from somebody can be very dangerous. They can be toxic. Just in few exceptions from sponsors, you can accept gifts, but nothing is for free in business. We have made the experience that the processes in DLR from administration and founding and so on, even if DLR was not a shareholder of our company, took 2 years. It took us 2 years for really starting after we had sufficient clarity what we do. Again, the greatest potential of the company are the employees and the colleagues and the business partners and suppliers. Stay honest. Honesty is the best policy. And always ask. It costs nothing to ask. Ask your clients, ask your suppliers. Can you suspend the payment, our invoice for 4 weeks? Yeah, they are happy with us. They were able to respond. And of course, share success. Do good and talk about it. Well, at least where someone is interested. I hope you have been interested. A few pieces of wisdom I wanted to transmit in the end. Another commitment to a specific area is always a blessing and a curse. Shape your business and try to follow this. But don't just do what you enjoy, do something that you're better at than others. That's important, very important. Otherwise, you won't find your market. You will have too many competitors. Always plan for the bad case and not only for the good one. Hold on to the founding moment of the company. Remember how glorious these times are. It gives you strength later on in bad times. Our experience was very good, having worked as an employee first and having built up network and experience before starting their own business. An important aspect, always ask yourself whether your employees and yourself are under or overworked. Do they have too much or do they have too little efforts? Are they feeling happy? And delegation is more difficult than you think, but it's urgently needed in the business, otherwise you cannot grow. And with this, I want to get to my initial and final picture. You find my contact data here. We've been inspecting, or we continue inspecting solar collectors. We continue supporting that market. We continue living in that market of concentrating solar power. And for this project here, I would be open to share some more information if you have questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Eckhard. It's so interesting to see how you started as a spin-off and you have evolved, and it's really fascinating the journey that we have taken, and you know, all the thoughts and difficulties and challenges you faced and how you overcome them. Thank you for sharing that. So let me repeat again that we have the chat open. You can share any questions, any thoughts that you would like, and we'll try to address them in the sessions. We have now Dr. Asit Turan from Middle East Technical University, from METU and UNAM, and he will share with us the challenges and opportunities for SMEs in the photovoltaic energy sector, and he will also give us an example of not a UNAM spin-off, iTech Solar. That's it. Are you with us?
Yeah, yes. Thank you, Odysseas. Do you hear me?
Thank you, Rashid. Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, you hear me. Yeah, okay.
Also
Thank
see the
you.
presentation.
Yeah, it's very pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me to this webinar. So let me first make this presentation full screen. Yeah, is it full screen now?
I think we have the same
Hello?
problem
Do you
with
hear me?
Vassiliki's. Yeah, we can hear
Oh.
you, Rashid. I'm afraid we cannot see the presentation mode, but I think it's okay to proceed like this.
Have you pressed F5? Perhaps this helps though.
Okay, so can we proceed like this? Is it okay?
Yes, I think it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's fine.
Okay, let me try again.
Dear Rashid,
Yes.
when at the time of sharing, do you have two screens?
I have to.
Yes. So please select the screen number 2 when sharing.
Okay, just let me stop sharing first and then try again. Okay, share. It is. I have only one screen now. I don't have another two screens. I have chosen window here.
Perhaps share your full screen, not just the file.
Maybe. Came to our screen. Yeah. I should share.
Now it's okay. Yes.
It's full screen now, right?
It's okay. We can. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I mean, if you can press also the hide button.
Is it changing now?
Yeah, it changes. But if you can push the hide link, just not to see that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This one. Okay. Good.
Perfect.
Good. Okay. I can start now. Nice to meet you again. I will be presenting the company that I created as a spin-off from our university and also from our research center, GUNAM, some times ago. I will be talking about some challenges, opportunities to create an SME, to create a spin-off company in Turkey, which is not very straightforward and easy, maybe. So in 2015, I was a modest faculty member at physics department, and I was working on solar energy and PV technologies, and the community and also the environment was encouraging me and pushing me somehow to create a company. And in 2015, I created this company called iTech Solar. And we, at the beginning, we received some support from the government institution, COSGAP. COSGAP is a supporting agency for small and medium enterprises in Turkey. And then we opened the company in the technology zone of the university. So ODTÜ Teknokent is the largest technology development zone in Turkey. There are many companies, and it's a big area on our university campus. So the initial support was very small, just some office place for 1 year free, no renting, no payment for the rent, and we had some small money to buy chairs, tables, papers, etc., and some maybe computers partially, and some consumables. So we started this journey in 2015 with this small amount of support. And then our aim was to work on special solar modules, but later we also worked on not little bit, but quite different technologies, which is sensor technologies for the health sector. That project or that work was, has been grown now, and it has become important part of the company. But I'm not going to talk about that part of our activities. And we are now in the process of splitting the company into two. One of them will be dealing with this gamma probe, gamma detector technologies for health sector. But the main part will be working on photovoltaic module technologies. So you see different milestones that we have reached during the years since 2015. Well, our mission is to develop efficient, stable, low-cost, novel, and unconventional photovoltaic solar energy systems, such as BIPV, VIPV, PVT, flexible, etc. Most of them are developed through some R&D studies. And our vision, of course, is to be one of the leading companies in Turkey as well as in the region for such products. So we have decided not to work on conventional solar modules. For which there are too many companies in Turkey now. There are maybe more than 70 companies producing solar modules in Turkey, but there are almost no company making this custom design, tailored type of solar modules. So this is our main focus. So we are doing R&D, of course, together with GÜNAM and other institutions. So we are looking for governmental support through the projects. And we are continuously developing new products, which is very important in our case, because each module that we develop should have different properties. So we should follow the customer's design and customer's requirements and demands. We are also providing consultancy to bigger companies or state institutions. And also we are doing some testing for PV systems. So we have several partners. Most of them are in Turkey. Some of them you see in the bottom of this slide. Okay, what are the challenges? Maybe the challenges are very similar to all startup companies. Of course, we should work on business plan. We should always consider innovation and creation of new products, new ideas. So we should also, always look at what kind of products we need to bring into the market, which is not always easy to understand. And also we need funding for R&D studies. We need, of course, to manage somehow the cash flow, pay the salaries at the beginning of each month, so which is very sometimes not very easy. And also we should develop people to work with, which is also very difficult, because in Ankara, for instance, we have a very strong high technology companies, mainly defense companies around ourselves, and they are paying quite good salaries, and they always, the people prefer to work in those companies, big companies. So it is hard to keep the talented people in a small spin-off company. So analysis of market is very important. As already mentioned, what kind of product to be, to be brought into the market is not very straightforward to understand. And also we should deal with some venture capitalists sometimes. We don't know, if they are really useful or not, but we have been talking with them in the last 5 years, and some of them have shown some interest, but we haven't been successfully involving any of them in our business so far. Of course, as a faculty member, as an academician, we are also concerned about our academic life. What will happened to my academic life and what will happen to my students, especially because the more time you use in the company, the less time you can use in the university and in the research center and for the students. So all the things are really real challenges for us, for a startup company owner like me in Turkey. Of course, there are many opportunities in Turkey. This is a list of the support programs provided by TÜBİTAK. TÜBİTAK is our major source for the funding of our activities. There are many TÜBİTAK programs right now, especially the first one, 1501, which provides funding without any upper limit, so you can apply to this program and request very high budget for your research activities. And also, for instance, this 1704, which is called SIAM, it is an Industrial Innovation Network program. It has been introduced very recently, and this program is supported by World Bank. This program is especially supporting green transformation projects in the last 2 years. So we have a good chance to get some funding from this program. Of course, European programs are also, I mean, on the list, but not here, not mentioned here. But of course, it is more competitive and difficult for us to reach funding from the European programs, although there exist several SME supporting programs. Okay, when we look at the PV sector in Turkey, we see a very good future in Turkey in the near future. I mean, Turkey is installing more and more PV power stations, and they have some ambitious goals in the near future. And as you can see from these graphs, and the cost of the installation in the coming, let's say, 10 years or so will reach maybe $28 billion, so which is huge amount of, I mean, economical activities. And the companies like our company may find some place in this economical activity. So I mean, we should somehow orient ourselves to this program of the country. Okay, well, at the beginning we had a lot of difficulties, but now we are in a good position. We have now grown. We have 3 shareholders, 3 partners from the academia, and you see the list of the people that we have right now: 1 project development developer, mechanical engineers, material scientists, physicists, R&D engineer, technicians, and management personnel. So our company's production, pre-production, post-production quality control activities are continuing using an equipment park that you see here. We have about 300 square meter production area in the technology development zone in Ankara. And the machineries are seen here for the module production. They are mostly custom design tools. They are not standard module producing equipment. So I want to show you some examples of our products. As I said, we are targeting at the niche market and custom design. We are, I mean, making custom design solar modules, as you can see here. Most of them are project based. Right? For instance, like the one in the middle is a project trying to integrate special PV strings on a roof tile. This project was funded by Qatar Foundation, and it was conducted by Texas A&M University. For instance, we also did some application to the unmanned aerial vehicles. This is for the State Research Institute TÜBİTAK Space. So this was successfully, used in the experiments they did with this system. So here are some examples of products. So I don't need to explain all of them. Maybe they are clearly seen here. Flexible solar cells are one of our main products, and also, different shapes, different lengths, and different solar cells. So we just follow the requirements or the conditions requested by the customers. So here are some examples that we built for BIPV and agro-PV products. Semi-transparent modules in different sizes and shapes. So still working on this type of product. Okay, again, more examples. So I think that's enough from us. So I thank you for your attention. You see my email address here, so you can anytime contact me, write an email to me, and we are very open to collaboration at national and international level. So thank you again for your attention.
Thank you, Rasid. Thank you for this very interesting presentation. Another spin-off of Gynan. Let me say, for those that are not that familiar with the Turkish ecosystem, that Gynan is the top research institution in solar energy in Turkey. So it's not it's an institution that has already given a lot in not only in the research community but also in supporting innovation. We have the next presentation, Dr. Sami Büker from Solimpex, to talk to us, give us the insight.
Yes, we have.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, we have a small change in the program.
Okay, sorry.
So we will give the floor to Nick Anopoulos from Bright, and
Okay.
then Mr. Mahmoud Büker for Solimpex will follow.
Okay.
Okay, guys, good afternoon. Let me share my screen. Can you see the presentation?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I didn't know quite what kind of spin you want in this presentation about the company and how the company came up and succeeded. So I will talk, this presentation has a lot of technical information, but I will try to skip the over detailed technical and emphasize perhaps market aspects and other things. So we are Bright. The company is headquartered in Thessaloniki, Greece, with R&D in Greece, in Patras, southern Greece, and business development in US, France, Egypt, Netherlands, Spain, and India. We are a team of actually 24 now, of specialized people, primarily chemistry, physics, and electrical engineering. And when I founded the company, since I used to live in the US for over 30 years, I made it like an American company where most of the employees get a shareholding position as an incentive to working for the company. Our technology is patented in terms of materials and composition, deposition methods, and product assembly. We have right now 18 patents and trademarks at different stages. Most of them are granted, but we have some pending. And we have received numerous national and international innovation awards. Here on the left right-hand corner, you see us with the ambassador of the US to Greece, where we won first place position in the Greek American Chamber of Commerce Innovation Challenge for Technology. So how the company came about, in my last job, I was working with Applied Materials, building factories worldwide for making solar panels. And when I left Applied Materials, I was thinking about this water, energy, and food nexus that the world faces, where food production through agriculture consumes 70% of water globally and 14% of energy. And then in order to sustain the world's population with the expected increase to 9.7 billion by 2050, we need to increase food production by 70 to 100%. Obviously, that cannot be done with conventional means. We need more technology, because otherwise there will be no water for the humans to use. And the most prominent technology is greenhouse farming, that essentially increases yield by 10 times while using 10 times less water. However, the penalty is energy, using 10 times more energy. And the energy component is 28% of the operating cost of the greenhouse. So that was the problem that we set out initially to solve. How do you make a greenhouse energy neutral or self-sufficient? Of course, that plays also to the climate change and the effect on agriculture in open field, because you have higher temperatures that have an effect. We have longer growing seasons, more extreme weather all over, water variability. The water dry areas become wet, wet areas become dry. And farming has been always a risky business, and of course climate change makes that risk even higher. You see the press front pages of the effect on climate change. We have this problem in Greece this year because the olive oil price has been almost the price of whiskey because of destruction of the crops. Same thing for grapes in 23, so these are very expensive. So what is the solution? And we were thinking about the solution. It's something called agrivoltaics. Rashid talked about that already. And agrivoltaics come in two versions. One is greenhouses, of course, a complete enclosed environment where you control everything in terms of climate. And you see that one in the bottom picture. And the other one is open field, where you essentially establish a canopy over the crops so that you can protect the crops against weather, and at the same time you have the opportunity, depending on the configuration, to collect rainwater and therefore manage the irrigation of the field. And what we wanted to do is to produce a product that can be installed as essentially the canopy. So in open field, you have fixed mount, and sometimes people try to use opaque or regular solar panels or transparent solar panels. And in some cases use trackers. The traditional solar panels are opaque. They have large shadow, and of course they reduce the growing area. And of course anything that is under the panel and is shaded, the crop yield is affected very, very significantly. Crops require uniform light. You see that one through a science experiment on the right-hand side. The crop, the plant always will find a way to go towards light. And if you use regular solar panels on the left upper side, you see the panel placement, but you see the shade underneath. That will have a significant effect on crop yield. If you use our technology, which is semi-transparent solar panels, you see uniform lighting in the greenhouse underneath, and our aim is to not to affect the crop yield negatively. So that's our solution, and the solution is essentially modifying the transparency of the solar panel to fit the location of installation and the crop yield, meaning the minimum light required for the crops in order not to be affected yield-wise. But we also do something else. We coat our panels with nanomaterials that we have invented that do absorb UV light, which is useless or harmful to plants, and shifts it to the red region of the visible spectrum where the plants photosynthesize, and specifically to the between 600 and 650 nanometers, where it is what is called chlorophyll B by the agronomist, and that essentially increases the photosynthetic active radiation the plants see, and therefore increase the plant yield. The solar cells we are using are bifacial monocrystalline solar cells, half-cut M10 cells, and as I said already, the glass transparency or the panel transparency is adapted to the location of installation plus the crops under the canopy. So these are two different pictures of two different panels. In one, on the left-hand side, the panel is very transparent, 80%. On the right-hand side, it is less transparent, I believe 50%. So the nanomaterials, as I said, are developed by us, and they are applied on glass by using inkjet printing. And there are two main categories of materials. One is anti-reflective nano coatings that essentially increase the transparency of the glass, and you see the difference when the glass is not coated versus coated. But at the same time, we are increasing the transparency of the glass. We also make the glass hydrophobic, meaning that rainwater is removed from the glass very quickly and doesn't stick on the glass, so that the reflectivity is not increased, and also the glass doesn't soil very easily. The second coating we have is what we call luminescent solar concentrator, and this coating is a coating that absorbs UV light and retransmits it in the red region of the spectrum. You see a picture depicting the effect on the right-hand side, where you see a glass over a bed of UV lamps. So when the lamps are off, the glass looks like regular glass. When the lamps turn on, the glass becomes red because it absorbs the UV light and transmits in the red. And on the diagram down left, you see the spectral response of the coating. We have another one that we do the same thing. We absorb UV, but we shift it to blue. And the reason for that is that the plants photosynthesize in two different regions. They are called chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. The blue region is between 400 and 450 nanometers, and the red region at 600, 650 nanometers. And we have a coating also that combines the two, so the same coating shifts both to blue and red. The spectroscopic response of these coatings has been verified by third parties. The interest here is not from the energy point of view, but from the plant growth point of view. So we selected Wageningen University, one of the most prominent agro schools in the world, that they measured our glasses, and they gave us the results where they show, especially on the red shift, an increase in transparency there, or increase of the active photosynthetic energy of 9%, which is very, very significant. Here's a science, not actually a research project done by the agronomy school at the University of Patras, where they grow in a controlled light environment in a cube. This is tomatoes, I believe, coated cube and uncoated cube, and you see you can tell which one is the coated is on the left-hand side, because in the same amount of time the plants grow bigger. And of course, there are other measurements in terms of dry weight and wet weight of the plants and so forth. They've done this experiment with tomatoes, eggplant, oregano, sage, and I think parsley. So the coated glass offers higher cell efficiency, but also power performance. And the anti-reflective hydrophobic will be on the outside of the glass, and then the LSC coating on the inside of the glass. This shows you the effect also of the coatings on the solar cell efficiency. We have almost 1% increase in the solar cell efficiency because of the higher light absorption by the solar cells affected by the coatings. So for the agrivoltaic optimization, we essentially do the energy production that an agrivoltaic installation will use in order to essentially offset the energy uses for pumping, tractors, lighting, environmental. All the farming equipment will become electric in a few years. And of course, the crop protection that will mitigate climate change. So what we have, actually our product is a cultivar-specific solar panel, optimization of transparency and power generation. Transparency goes from 30 to 85%, and the max installed power in the panel goes from 300 watts to 115 watts per panel, respectively. This is a crop-specific support structure. In the support structure, you have to take in consideration the working height, but also the lines between the crops and the distance of the crops in the same line, and then the amount of air the particular crop under the canopy needs in order to grow. This is also that was show you. The previous slide was one line. This one is an actual canopy. We have essentially installed in several places both greenhouses and agri-PV installations of the various crops. You see here a tomato greenhouse, there is a grape greenhouse, there is ornamental flowers greenhouses, and then in open field over grapes, over pears, over strawberries, over blueberries, and so forth. We have actually installed in 10 different countries over various crops, and this is very useful because we collect data for the interaction between crop and panel, which is very important in our business. Another effect by using this technology is that you can reduce severely or even turn zero or negative the CO2 footprint per kilogram of crop produced, which is a very important marketing tool especially for the markets in Central Northern Europe and Northern America. And in a pilot greenhouse we did over grapes, we found out that the CO2 footprint was negative per kilogram of grapes produced. In open field, we have, of course, better protection for the crops in terms of wind, rain, hail, snow. Temperature modulation. During the summer, we are 2 to 3 degrees lower than the environment, and during the winter 2 to 3 degrees higher. Pollinator protection. This is also very important because in some cases when they use bees, for example, to pollinate the crops, if you hang the bee system under the canopy, then the bees can work under any weather conditions because they are not affected. We collect and give to the farmer the rainwater, so there is a water management, and we can integrate in the open field bird netting that can automatically drop on the sites and then enclose essentially the plants within that environment. And you see some crops here. We've done grapes, several kinds of berries, and in the course of this program of SolarHub, we will install other pitches. Besides doing the panel, we also do the design of the project and then the system design. We place the panels in different strings with different MPPT points depending on the orientation of the panel, south, north, east, west. And then depending on the orientation of the panel, we monitor the performance of the panel in terms of energy production on different strings. And here you have a snapshot from the inverter portal where in real time we know first of all what is the weather, because we connect a weather station to the inverter so that we know exactly how is the weather there, and we monitor the energy produced in real time, the monetization of that energy depending on what kind of system we've built, like self-consumed or in terms of net metering, or if we sell it to the grid, at what point we sell it. And then, of course, the CO2 savings in terms of avoidance. The impact results of what we're doing is the energy generation, in fact, exceeds our expectations based on simulation prior to installation. And this is due to the fact that we have a better temperature coefficient for the panels, since we install at higher height than regular PV. Regular PV, you are, let's say, half a meter from the ground. Our panels are in greenhouses 8 meters high, in agri PV a minimum of 4 meters high. So no negative crop yield, only positive impact, which is extremely important for the farmer. And this is actually our first conditional parameter that we face when we design a project. Severe reduction in the CO2 footprint per kilogram of crops produced, and the farmer has an additional revenue stream from energy sales or self-use from the greenhouse or the open field structure, in addition to the crop revenue. If you want to see the dramatic potential of this technology, let's say in Europe, and we want to make it dramatic by exaggerating a little bit on the uptake of the market. But let's take a single crop, that's grapes, which is very popular in Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, and Greece is the largest European producers. And assume 50% penetration, market penetration, to make it dramatic. That's the dramatic part. The energy production of that will be over 1 million gigawatt hours per year. And the CO2 emissions reduction, 677 million tons per year. And the revenue from the energy sales, 42 billion. So assuming 4 cents per kilowatt hour for grid sales, which is what is the system paying in Greece right now if you connect to the grid. So that shows the potential of the dual use of land, essentially, for agriculture and solar energy production at the same time. So that's a presentation, but if I knew, then I would I would offer some slides essentially on what are the calamities for starting a company and developing a company. I mean, this company was started by me. Of course, I have extensive experience. This is my second startup. And I was the seed investor. I had the audacity to start the company during the Greek financial crisis, which was extremely difficult. So I had to be the seed investor. And then we raised Series A capital. After we built some value in the company through R&D grants, because building value in the company and increasing the company valuation allows you to keep more of the company percentage into the founders. So we raised Series A of 9 million in order to build a manufacturing facility here in Greece for making these panels that have the nano coating materials in them. And this line that this factory that will combine the coating of the glass and the panel assembly will be the first line in the world that operates like that. So the biggest problem in doing, of course, this thing in Greece is the regulatory framework and the bureaucracy of the country. It would have been much easier if we did it, let's say, in Germany, Holland, or even better in the US, where, of course, I'm very familiar with the environment, so I would prefer that. But we are here, so we have to deal with it and hope for the best. Now we have the headache of building a factory, which is not a small task. A lot of headaches, and most of the headaches, stupid headaches like permitting, fire protection, and zoning, and a million requirements imposed by the regulatory framework. So that's all I have. And if you guys have any questions, you have my contact. Let me know, or you can ask now, or whatever you prefer. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikos. Thank you for this very interesting story of Bright. I think we can go now to Solimpex and Dr. Mahmoud Buker.
Yeah, good afternoon,
Yes,
everyone. Can I just share my screen now?
Yes, of course.
Let me just check first. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
My presentation? It's been loading, I think.
Not yet. We still see a black screen.
Okay, just maybe I try one more time. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we need to share the application, not the screen. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Mahmoud Sami Buker from Solimpex and Inorma R&D. I will be presenting two companies. One is mature company and another one is a spin-off company. And I will be finalizing my presentation with some key remarks about for the early stage entrepreneurs. Okay, so Grandfather started the company in 1970s, nearly 50 years ago. And in the middle, you can see the solar thermosiphon system. And the company is now in the hand of third generation. Solimpex roots dated back to 1970s. The company was founded in 1977 with the production of solar water heaters in Turkey, which made the company a market leader of Turkey in 1993. And we started the production of hygienic domestic hot water tanks in 1998. In 2001, we marks the date for the foundation of Solimpex brand, global brands for global markets. And in 2008, we started producing hybrid PVT thermal panels, both producing electricity and thermal power, and which landed the company in top 10 global solar thermal companies in 2009. In 2010, Solimpex GmbH was founded in Germany. In 2011, we moved to a new factory with the closed area of nearly 30,000 square meters. And in 2013, Solimpex Academy was established. In 2014, we started producing flexible pipes and the heat pumps. And in 2017, we received the Exporter Champion prize, which landed the company in top 3 among solar water heater manufacturers around the world. In 2020, we have now a new production line for domestic hot water tanks, thermal and energy storage systems. In 2022, we made the decision for a new investment. There will be a second factory in the second half of 2024, which has the production area of 22,000 square meter closed area. We have on the left-hand side, you can see the factory and headquarters of Solimpex. And we have a Solimpex Izmir, mainly for domestic applications, domestic market. And we have Solimpex Germany in Hanover, mainly for European and German market. Solimpex, we have more than 20 certificates to export our goods to more than 96 countries, and now in 6 continents we have presence today, as of today. So we have Solimpex Academy, where we train engineers, contractors, installers, students about solar collectors, heat pumps, thermal energy storage systems, and the nearly zero energy building concept. So as the renewable industry is highly dynamic, we have a continuous R&D activities, process and legacy over the years. So I think we are really proud to say that each and every sorry about that. Each and every product Solimpex has today is the outcome of an R&D project. And we are not really good at R&D, but we also track record of successfully commercializing these outcomes. Looking at our product range, we have hybrid PVT collectors, both producing electricity and thermal, and also thermal collectors. We have heat pumps for different applications for domestic use. On the left-hand side, you can see an integrated heat pump with the heat pump, and the bottom is the thermal energy storage. We have heat pumps for swimming pool applications, air-to-water heat pump units, and our heat pumps are now in the list of ASDE of Netherlands and the BAFA list of Germany, so that the users in Netherlands and Germany can use government incentives by installing our heat pumps now. So we have hygienic tanks. This is the new investment today. The second factory will be functional in the early 2025. This is hygienic tanks, enamel coated tanks. We produce flexible hoses for hot water applications in boilers and solar thermal applications, so on. So we have a new product as well, which is an MPPT controller that allows direct heating from PV units by controlling the electrical resistance heater and maximize its performance. So for R&D, we have several projects, but we are involved in one of the retrofitting of European domestic building stock project, SureFit project. As part of this project, we installed PVT units in Greece and Spain as use cases. So we are involved in SolarHub project as well. So today we have plenty of references in all over the world, from France from Central Europe to the UK, London firehouses, from Dubai, Middle East to Africa, Far East Islands, United States, etc. 96 countries and 6 continents. So this picture is from one of the fairs that we introduced quantum house concepts in Istanbul. So as you can see, Solimpex can provide the renewable energy solutions for your houses, including heating, PV, photovoltaic thermal collectors, solar carports, heat pumps for heating and cooling, underfloor heating, and these type of solutions. Okay, this is the Solimpex part. And also we have an Inorma R&D, which is the kind of a spin-off company. I am the co-founder of Inorma R&D, and which is a green innovation company. We at Inorma, we focus on the water scarcity, because we are facing water scarcity ever than before nowadays, and we are mainly focusing on the development of an innovation for affordable and accessible clean energy and atmospheric water generation solutions in this company. So it's a wild estimation, but according to these estimations, 90% of the world population will experience water shortage, water scarcity in the near future. It's estimated that at least a month in a year from 2025. So our solution is to this threatening problem. We offer a solar atmospheric water generation system, which sustainably addresses water scarcity by using low carbon technologies, including solar collectors, innovative humidity capture devices, and thermodynamic condensation devices. So these are the key technologies employed in the system. And these systems are environmentally friendly systems. So the system can work off-grid, requiring very low energy for the fans. And it remarks very low energy per liter of water produced. It operates on renewable energy, minimum to zero environmental impact. It's a plug-and-play unit, which is very modular. So basically, you can use it for off-grid applications, for agricultural greenhouses, in rural communities, in private yachts, maritime applications. So it's a very flexible system. So looking at our traction, we were founded in 2021 and 21, and have been awarded several projects from TÜBİTAK and the European Union along the way, and we also secured a corporate investment in the meantime. So looking at the market size, the global atmospheric water generator market size was valued at 2.5 billion in 2021, and it's projected to be between 6 to nearly $10 billion in 2030s, with a cumulative annual growth rate of 15% each year. So of course we have competitors, but our system differentiates in terms of lowest energy requirements, easy installation, and no emissions, because today's solutions are not really sustainable, polluting the environment, and very bulky and expensive units. So we have several options to commercialize these units. We are still testing the long-term testing the prototypes. We can use paid pilots as starters. We can go for different distribution channels, including B2B or direct sales of the units. So we are constantly seeing and discussing with investors, and after the pilots, we would like to draw some investments. And the funds, if we secure an investment, the funds will be partly allocated to the different tasks, including sales development, product development, materials, tools, piloting, etc. So we have a highly competitive team, mainly having a mechanical engineering background, doing PhDs and master degrees. The team has really certain capabilities, including modeling, optimization, simulation, prototyping, and testing of and manufacturing of the units prototypes. We also have new team members who will join us soon, and also we utilize Solimpex's infrastructure in this process as well. Thank you very much. These are the companies. And also, I'm finalizing my presentation with the key remarks for early stage entrepreneurs. As Nick said, it's not really easy, but in this process, we should love the problem, not the solution, because in the bottom, you see the early version of the phones. I'm sure no one will want to use it today. So customer is the best advisor. Just release your product and get feedback from the customers and improve it along the way. In startups, we really have to be patient about our progress, our staff and our finance, even ourselves, but we shouldn't be really that patient for going to market. Just release the product and stand by with the product, bake the product, and get the customer feedback and improve. So R&D projects are really helpful in this process, in the startup adventure, because it's in the short term, it gives you some, it finances your R&D activities. But in the long term, you are just broadening your network, and you see different demands, different applications, different systems, which will broaden your horizon. So accelerator programs are really, really important, and it will give you a lot of, through these programs, there will be a lot of trainings about going for R&D projects and how to successfully market your product, and preparing business plans so you can get it done, all the paperwork through these programs. So I think it is really important to focus on one solution. As Bruce Lee says, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. So just we have to train ourselves and focus on one solution. But in the meantime, we shouldn't really fall into the project traps because when you land R&D projects, you immediately effective, really, you feel really successful, but you shouldn't really lose your main focus. And also in terms of legislation, government bodies, etc., try to catch the wind. For example, European Green Deal. I think it is really right time to start a business about solar energy. And competitor analysis is really important. It's not really good to say that just we are the only one in the world and we are saving the world. This will really draw a lot of suspicions, and no one will invest you. I think this is all from me. Please, you have my contacts. Please email me or just shoot out your question right now, whatever you prefer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mahmoud. Thank you for sharing with us the journey of Solintex. We have, I don't see any questions at the moment. We have one more presentation from Joshua Ditten from Exomatter, again coming from DLR, and this time we have an example of a software startup dealing, of course, with materials.
Yes.
So I'd like, yes, hi Joshua. So
hi, Vassiliki. Thank you very much. For a nice intro, and yeah, I think I'm doing the last presentation today, so I hope you can still listen and are not too exhausted, and I won't add to your exhaustion. So I will keep it brief. Let me quickly share my screen. I hope you can see that now.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, so yeah, my name is Joshua. I'm one of the founders and CEO of Exomatter, as you already heard, a spin-off of DLR. And our goal is to make materials science or materials development as easy as possible. And I will explain to you a bit on how we do that, what our product is, and then as well our journey, how we originate from DLR and what we have achieved so far. And of course, I'm also open for questions, either if there's still time or you can connect with me afterwards. So I always like to start with this number. That comes actually from a scientific paper where people try to estimate the amount of materials that could possibly exist. The real number is probably infinite. So that just goes to show you that it's impossible to know all materials as one human being. So the amount of materials that could possibly exist is larger than the amount of stars in the universe. It's the 1 with 60 zeros. Even if every star in the observable universe had a universe of stars within it, it would still be a lot less than this number. So how do we navigate this complexity? How do we find the right material for our application? So the way it is done today, and those of you that are working experimentally in chemistry, know exactly what I'm talking about. So either you use what everyone else has been using. If it's been working fine, then yeah, it's usually not such a bad bet to use it. But there may be issues with the existing materials, so it's not always the best solution to just use what everyone else is using. Or you do a lot of literature research. You try a lot of options in a lab. That's something that a lot of you know from like the PhD. That you just go to a lab and you try a lot of different combinations. And of course, you go in with your knowledge, but a lot of it is also luck and a lot of work in the end. And that, of course, is very wasteful. So you waste a lot of time, waste a lot of resources. Around 5 billion hours are spent each year on materials R&D, around 100 billion US dollars each year. That's just very inefficient. So yeah, as I mentioned, market for materials development is huge. So I think you have seen a lot of these graphs today from all the different startups. We have one as well. It's a bit hard to estimate actually the materials R&D market. If you just look at the area of chemistry, then you have data from the OECD, just for the OECD countries, and you're already at 35 billion per year that are spent on R&D. So I think it's safe to say that there is at least 100 billion being spent on R&D in materials each year, if you count all the manufacturing companies, which is a much larger market than just chemistry. So we are not just talking about the solar industry here. I will show you an example from solar research, but this is really materials development in general, which is also our mission at Accelerator. So we have a very broad approach. And then the materials informatics market is the market that we are in, materials informatics space. So the space of simulating materials. And that is expected to grow to 1.5 billion within the next 10 years. So right now we are at like $250 million per year that are spent in materials informatics, which is a tiny fraction of the total market size in materials R&D. And that already goes to show you that the market is still vastly underserved. Most companies know that you can simulate materials, but I don't know how to do that. And I don't know how to make use of the data in the end and actually create insights for them that help them with their decision. And that's exactly where we help. And our goal, of course, it's a big dream, but our goal until the end of the decade is to cover 10% of the materials informatics market. So how do we market ourselves? What's our business model? So we have switched from project-based work to purely subscription-based. So our product is a software platform that we offer mainly in 2 different subscription tiers. The advanced model is relying on the data that we collected. So not a lot of extra simulations on our end, whereas the premium model additionally has new simulations of either new materials or new materials properties for the customers, but still based all on the same platform. And we're planning to launch a free version of our product. It's a bit delayed. We planned this a bit earlier, but we're planning it now in 2025, especially for academics, also to try out and build a community. Within the research projects that we are involved in with DLR, you will actually be able to try this much sooner because we do an internal testing phase before. So yeah, what does our platform do? So our platform is a cloud-based software platform. We don't make any physical materials. We don't have any labs. We are a pure software startup. And on our platform, you define the target criteria, so the target properties of the material, and you get a short list of the best materials for this application, specifically for your application, with an easy to understand score from 0 to 10 that tells you what the strengths and weaknesses of this specific material are, and how, when you should use one material versus the other. And we do this for inorganic materials as well as polymers. We have now started to develop polymers as well on our platform, and it's highly versatile. We don't just simulate or present existing materials, but we can also simulate completely new materials that don't exist yet. And we do that by data mining and simulation. We also do machine learning to fill in the gaps. And we are building more and more our features. One key feature that is also coming later this year is a team function where you can share your results with your team or your working group, and you have one single source of truth for materials R&D. So in which area are we actually as Accelerator in terms of material simulation? So you can classify that in terms of length and time scale. And the smallest possible scale and the most short-lived interactions are in the quantum scale, and then you are in the atomistic scale, and that's the area of density functional theory. So that's one of the main primary data sources that we use, data from density functional theory, and then on top of that, we do additional simulations and machine learning in some cases. A bit larger than that is molecular dynamics. So molecular dynamics comes in wherever you have things that change over time and larger molecules. So this method is the one that we use to simulate polymers. And for polymers, for instance, we simulate the coefficient of thermal expansion, or we simulate glass transition temperatures. So those are all properties that you need that are temperature dependent. So you need to let the system evolve and see what happens. This is the area that we are in. Where we are not in is meso and macro scale, so FEM simulations and anything like that. We are just in the smaller scale. So we focus purely on material simulation and don't do the development of actual parts of machines and things like that, because that would be way too industry specific, and we want to be industry agnostic. So how does this work? How do you actually get the data? So for the primary simulations, there are two options. For one, you need existing data. For the other one, not. So without existing data, you run those first principle simulations, DFT or molecular dynamics. And with existing data, you do data analytics or machine learning. And in the end, you get materials properties. Here is a summary of how this works. So what's important also is that we don't just focus on the chemistry of the materials, but we also include engineering data, physics, cost, and sustainability, so that you can get a complete picture for our customers. It's also summarized here a bit more. So you can imagine this like with the Rubik's Cube. You can get one side of the Rubik's Cube that looks very nice, and then the other sides are still terrible. And that's the same as if you develop one material that has great chemical properties. It works perfectly in the lab, and then you want to actually bring it to industry, and you realize, oh, my components are too toxic or too expensive or have a too large carbon footprint. To avoid that, we have this multidimensional approach. That's also unique to Exometer. Other materials informatics companies are not doing that. So next to the core materials data, we have engineering data, we have physics. And for cost and sustainability, for cost, we actually do an estimate based on the materials that you would need to synthesize your completely new material, for which we have good data from wholesale suppliers. And for sustainability, we have started and purchased a developer agreement with EcoInvent from Switzerland, who do carbon footprints. And we are also adding more than just carbon footprints in the future. Here's why companies buy our licenses, why they are our customers. So we are really proud of our customers that we have landed so far. So Airbus right now is our biggest customer. We're working with Infineon. We're working with BSH, which is a manufacturer of appliances in Germany. So we're working on refrigerators and optimize those in terms of the energy efficiency. So it's really huge potential way beyond solar. And our main product is time savings and finding new materials that you could never even have found before. So yeah, that's a main advantage that we have with our platform and with our simulations. Along with that, of course, comes a huge cost reduction. Yeah, I just realized that this is an old version of the slide, so there is a placeholder in there, but I will give the explanation myself. So the cost reduction, of course, comes from the hours that you save, and along with that, also carbon footprint reduction in the lab, in the actual synthesis and the materials R&D that you need to do in the lab. The carbon footprint reduction is a bit smaller than the cost reduction because, of course, you also need some energy to run the simulations and the machine learning, but it's an order of magnitude less than you would need in the lab. So this is was a quick summary of like what we do as a company. Now a bit more about the story where we come from. So in my PhD at DLR in the Institute of Future Fuels, I was supposed to find new materials for solar energy conversion. So water splitting, CO2 splitting, and air separation. And I was working mainly with perovskite materials, and I found out that there is a database in the US called Materials Project, maybe you know it, that has really good data on a lot of materials that are simulated. And I wanted to use that, and I started using their data and got some really good first results. And then thanks to the Institute, I was actually able to make a research visit to the US, work with them for 3 months, and the result was this. So that is basically code that builds upon Materials project data and evaluates it for a specific use case. And in a way, you could see this as the very first prototype for Exomatter, although back then didn't have the plan to launch this into a company yet. It was just for my PhD, and it delivered great results for the PhD. And yeah, based on that, later on, the company existed. I'm now jumping ahead a lot. Here is a case study of a recent project that we have done with DLR, where we built upon that and actually developed new cerium-based materials for solar energy conversion, which was of course a very nice success. In summary, like our storyline or our where we come from, my PhD, that was the very early stage. That was until 2019, I think, if I remember now correctly. And then I decided to work somewhere else. I actually worked at a scale-up company, so not a startup anymore, but also quite big, called Celonis. Not related to chemistry at all, but I learned a lot there. And then we decided to found Exomatter, and we got a spin-off grant from DLR and the Helmholtz Association that allowed us to do pilot projects, and then launch the company 2 years ago. And initially with a project-based product, as I mentioned. And now in the last year, we have actually reached a lot of growth. So first of all, we have crossed the magical threshold of 100,000 in revenue. And we have also managed to secure funding from investors. So a pre-seed round of 900,000. And this year now, actually right now, we are raising a seed round of 3.5 million. That's also the reason why I'm in London right now and taking this meeting from a hotel room, because in London here we are at an investor meeting. So we are in the middle of fundraising right now. Here is the core team. So we have 2 founders, actually 3 founders. One of them decided to leave Friedemann. So Barbara and myself are the remaining two founders. Barbara is more on the business development and sales, and also the fundraising aspect, whereas I'm the materials scientist and building the larger long-term vision for our product and our business. We recently hired our CTO, Jonathan, who has great experience working at different startups and has made them really big. And our head of growth is Claudia, who does a lot of marketing and scaling and internationalization. This is the core team, but we are now 12 people in the team, quickly growing. We're hiring the next person 1st of July. That's really exciting right now. We are based in Munich. And if you happen to be in Munich, I invite you to visit us. We have a great coffee machine, so you can have a coffee with us. And with that, thanks a lot for listening. I hope it wasn't too boring in the late afternoon. And yeah, if there's still time for questions, happy to answer, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to follow up later.
Thank you, Joshua. First of all, good luck with your funding round.
Thank you.
I hope you succeed what you have in mind. And we don't have any more presentations, but I'd like to ask 2 questions. Basically, Hande from our project posted them online in the chat, and it's something that I also wanted to come back to. And I don't know how many of our speakers are still online, but maybe you can start. And one of the questions is, what have been your best strategy in overcoming bias against your spin-off before branding identity? So even before you started, before you were able to present something and convince others that you're doing great work and you have results. What was the bias that you faced and how you overcome it?
Yeah, it wasn't easy because like I have no background in like venture capital or the startup space, and there are some biases towards scientists that you love your product and you know a lot about your product, but they don't know about how to make a business. And in the beginning, it's true. So you need this knowledge. We have been supported in Munich. There's Unternehmertum, like TU Munich startup ecosystem, which is really good. And we were in an incubator program called Expreneurs that was really helpful. And with that, we like overcame some of the bias, but it's in the beginning, it's difficult. So it's a chicken and egg problem because nobody wants to be the first one that trusts you. What we did is also so within the spin-off phase, we did pilot projects with potential clients for free. We didn't even have a company back then yet. It was still within the confines of DLR. And we got a lot of feedback, and we could kind of use also these success stories to advertise the company. So that was a bit like how it was possible in the beginning, but it was still very slow. Like the first year after founding, we had very little customer traction. And then when Airbus came, everyone came because we were allowed to advertise with the Airbus logo. We negotiated with them, and that was really helpful.
Yes, you're right. You were able to make a step and create a better brand. And what is the role that you see spin-offs and startups can best fulfill within the CST or PV ecosystem? I mean, what do you think could be a competitive advantage for a startup to join or to develop something for the solar energy sector?
I think it's in general it's speed. Like in the solar energy sector, I think there's still a lot of research being done, and the research is great because it's fundamental research, but there's also no pressure to make money, right? And in a startup, there is pressure to make money. So either we make money or we die. So I think it's the speed that I don't have a particular technology in mind. It can be materials, it can be also solar technology itself, but that's what I would say.
Excellent, very good. I don't see any other questions, and I don't want to take more time from the speakers, and I'm sure that participants are already probably tired. Online sessions can be quite demanding, and it's not the same. We all know that, but it's a good alternative. We get the chance to see and hear from so many different and interesting startups. So I want to thank all the speakers. I want to thank all participants for joining us and being with us till now. We are going to share, of course, our presentations, and we're going to make available the videos that we have. And I don't know if George or Penelope or anyone else would like to make any final comment.
Not something perhaps very brief. I hope you found this event useful. What we tried to do was to, show and highlight good examples, successful examples, because learning by example is perhaps the best way to learn how to do something. And we learned, of course, that above all, you need to have an innovative idea, but this is, of course, very important because without this innovation, you cannot do much, but it is not enough. You need to be patient, you need to have courage, you need to be persistent, you need to be honest and focused. And in some cases, like particularly in Greece and in Turkey, you need to be prepared to face the monster of bureaucracy. So there are problems, there are challenges, but if you are prepared and you know more or less what to expect, then you can succeed, especially if you really have a solid idea and really innovative one. So thank you. That was, let's say, the first event of our acceleration program. Looking forward for the next to come. This has presented the program. Please stay tuned with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice afternoon.
Bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.